Escape from an isolated totalitarian nation modeled after North Korea in Suppressed, a visual novel and 2D platformer game. Suppressed, strongly based on North Korea's politics and culture, shows both the good and bad of isolated dictatorships. My game's goal is to educate about North Korea's human rights violations and entertain at the same time. I'm hoping that those who play will become more empathetic with victims of human rights abuses, possibly even taking action towards finding solutions by conducting their own independent investigations into North Korea and getting in touch with human rights organizations. Suppressed is for ages 13 and up for all genders and all experience levels. They need to have at least an hour of free time that they can set aside for playing Suppressed. Players will also need a computer with an operating system updated within the past few years, SSC2 support for their CPU, and at least 1.5 gigabytes of free storage, along with a mouse and a keyboard. Narrowing my audience even more, those who enjoy visual art and social issues or learning will derive the most enjoyment from my game since Suppressed is done in a painterly style and is meant to educate. Suppressed contains several components: visual, audio, and programming. The visuals are done with Adobe Photoshop. The audio, done with copyright-free sound effects and music found on SoundCloud, Bensound, and freesound.org, and edited with Audacity, an audio editing software. And lastly, the programming was done with Unity, a game engine, MonoDevelop, an integrated development environment, and C#, a modern C programming language. The player enters to the main menu screen after acknowledging the mature material warning. They use their mouse to quit the application, change settings, or start the game. The visual novel section helps develop the narrative. The player simply presses the X button to continue to the next page. The platformer levels not only use the X button but also the arrow keys and spacebar. Interacting with other characters is simple. Press X when you're near them, X to continue dialogue, and the mouse to select dialogue once it's the player's turn to speak. As the player moves along levels, a combination of visual novels, interacting with other characters, and picking up and giving items will reveal stories of illness, injustice, and tragedy. By connecting the main character and other characters' stories together, one can discover the full extent of propaganda, poverty, and tyranny that dominates the nation. I'm glad you've listened to my journey, and thank you for watching.